morning, Almonica engineers.
Happy Wednesday! Today we are going to start our unit all about friendship. We will think about qualities that are important in a friendship.
After your lesson with Mrs. Hastings, you'll hear one of my favorite stories about acts of kindness.
Wow, this sounds great. Let's start today's wellness lesson with a mindful breathing activity. Did you know that you can feel your breathing in all different parts of your body? It's called growing gratitude. Let's try it.
Grow gratitude.
Hola!
Hi there!
Have a seat and get all nice and comfy. Muy bien. You good?
Yep. Are you?
Sí.
Good. Now breathe in and out. And with each exhale, bring your attention to a different part of your body and relax it.
Breathe in. And bring your attention to your eyes, your nose, and your mouth. And relax them. Relájalos.
Breathe in. Bring your attention to your shoulders and arms and relax them.
Inhala. And bring your attention to your legs and your feet. Y relájalos.
Now that you're nice and relaxed, close your eyes, breathe in, and bring your attention to your heart. And think about something or someone that you're grateful for.
Keep taking big, deep breaths and think of all the reasons why you're grateful for this something or someone.
Feel this gratitude in your heart as you breathe in and out. In and out. In and out. And now, with each new inhale, let this feeling of gratitude grow. Inhale and spread to your eyes, nose, and mouth. And exhale. Inhale to your shoulders and arms. And exhale. Inhale to your legs and feet. And exhale. Fill up your whole entire body with this wonderful feeling of gratitude. Breathe in and out. Gratitude. Breathe in and out. Gratitude.
Gratitud. Remember this feeling, this magical feeling. And now slowly open your eyes and move forward with your day.
Filled with gratitude and love because you're the best.
All right, friends, it's time for our connection question. In order to prepare for our lesson, we need to think about a close friend we have. Who do you enjoy spending time with? How can you describe that friend? For me, I have a lot in common with one of my closest friends. She is thoughtful and trustworthy. I know I can talk to her about anything. And she's dependable. When I make plans with her, I know I will see her and she's committed to them. So I really enjoy my time with her.
One friend that I have is probably one of my oldest friends. He and I went to the same elementary school and we met 27 years ago, and we're still super close. We love playing basketball, watching sports, going out, doing video games, pretty much anything. He's a great friend.
I'm thinking of one of my closest friends who I like to spend time with, and I love being with her because she's really kind and caring. She's a great listener and she makes me laugh. And she and I love to try new things together and be kind of adventurous. So we have so much fun together.
Okay, it's your turn. Who do you enjoy spending time with? How can you describe that friend? Hi everyone, it is time for our lesson. Today's lesson is called What Makes a Friend? The goal of this lesson is to identify characteristics that are important in a friendship and to understand that friends can have similarities and differences. This year, we have learned so much. We have learned how our thoughts influence our actions, how having empathy is important, that caterpillar thoughts help us to have a growth mindset, healthy communication helps us, and how to use the step-it-up approach to solving problems. We're going to use all of these skills in our next unit that is all about friendship. Okay, think of a friend you have, a very close friend or a couple friends, and try to finish these statements. I like friends who are. I like to with my friends. There is no right or wrong answer. Here are some common answers. Give a thumbs up if you agree with the statement. I like friends who are caring. I like friends who are fun. I like friends who are honest. I like friends who are funny. I like friends who make me laugh. I like to play with my friends. I like to have fun with my friends. I like friends who like to do what I like to do. I like to play games with my friends. Or I like to talk with my friends. Again, there was no right or wrong answer. You could have thought of something different, and it's still important when it comes to making friends. Okay, for this part of the activity, you need to get a piece of paper and something to write with. And if you don't have that, why don't you pause your video and then come back when you have it, when you're all ready. Press play when you're back. So for this part of our activity, we're going to make a chart or a table. If writing is hard for you, maybe you can find someone to sit with you and you can talk about these things instead of writing. But if you do like to write and you have the materials, I'll show you what to do. So we're going to draw a line across the top of our page from left to right. Oops. And then we'll draw 2 lines down. Like this. And it doesn't have to be straight and perfect. At the top of the first column, you can choose one of 2 words to write. You can write trait or characteristic. This column is going to have words that describe friends or just describing words. And we can call it trait or characteristic. Characteristic is a long word that's kind of hard to spell. It's up here for you to copy if you need to. And now I'm going to read you the character traits that we have listed on the screen, and you might think of more. And as I read them, you can start to write them on your paper. You don't have to write all of them. You can pick 5 or 10, or you can add different ones that are not on here that you like. We have funny, short, patient, likes scary movies, thoughtful, honest, talented, likes playing games, has curly hair, is smart, shy, is musical, and likes animals. So these are just examples, and if you'd like to come up with your own, you can. So right now, I'm going to pause my recording. You pause your video, decide how many you want to write, and then come back when you're ready for the next step. Okay, I'm back. I picked, I think, 8 of the words or phrases, and I wrote them down. So now in the middle column, I'm going to write the word you at the top. You. Right here. And now we're going to see if these words describe you. So I think I am funny sometimes. I'm going to put a check mark here. I don't think I'm short, so I'm going to leave this one blank. If you think you're short, you can put a check mark. I do think I'm patient, so I'll put a check mark. I'm thinking about myself in these words. I do not like scary movies, so I'm going to leave that one blank. I do try to be very thoughtful, so I'll put a check mark there. I do have curly hair. Sadly, I am not musical. I really wish I was. But I love animals, so I'm going to put a check mark there. Take a moment now and look at your words and put a check mark next to the words that describe you. Okay, and now in the last column, we're going to write friend at the top, right here. In this column, we're going to think, is it important to me for my friends to be funny or short or patient, etc.? So if it's important for you to have a friend that is funny, you can write, yes, it's important. Is it important for you to have a friend who is short? I am going to leave that blank. That is not important to me when I'm making a friend. Is it important to have a friend who is patient? I think that that is important to me. If it's important to you, you can write yes. It is not important to me if my friends like scary movies, so I'll leave that one blank. If that is important to you, you can write yes. I do think it's important for a friend to be thoughtful. If it's important for you to have a friend with curly hair, you can put yes. That is not something that's important to me, so I'm not going to put yes. A musical friend. That's a hard one. I think, yes, that is important to me. If it's important to you, you can write yes. And I do think, yes, it's very important for my friends to like animals because I like animals so much. So now take a minute, do what I just did, and think, is it important to you for your friends to have these traits? Press play on your video when you're ready. Okay, now your chart is all filled in. Take a couple of minutes to look at your table, your chart, and answer these questions. Did you want your friend to have all the same characteristics as you? So did you want all of your check marks and yeses to match? Did you want your friend to have all different characteristics as you? So on my chart, some of them matched and some of them did not. Is it okay to be friends with people who are different than you? Yes, of course. All right. Thanks for joining me today. Just remember, there are benefits to having friends with similarities and differences. Have a great Wednesday.
Kindness is Cooler, Mrs. Ruler, written by Marjorie Collier and illustrated by Sachiko Yoshikawa. It was cold, it was rainy, and Mrs. Ruler's class hadn't been outside all week. The students were getting jumpy and grumpy. Anaya and Tawana whispered during story time. David pulled Raquelita's ponytail, and Raquelita stole his hat. Then David grabbed Connor's hat and threw it into the hall. "That's enough! Too rough!" shouted Mrs. Ruler. The bell rang. It was time for recess.
As the kids left, Mrs. Ruler kept Anaya, Tawana, Connor, Raquelita, and David behind. "Sit down. Don't frown," she said. "Now tell me why you think I've kept you in from recess?" "We were acting up," mumbled Connor. "That's right. You were being mean to one another, and you acted as if it's cool to be mean. But it's not. What is a cooler way to act?" Raquelita spoke up. "Kindness is cooler, Mrs. Ruler," she said. "Bravo! A slice of nice makes a mile of smile. You 5 need to practice being kind. During the next few days, I want you to perform 5 acts of kindness for your families. Then, in show and tell, you can share what you did with the rest of the class." David scowled. "What if I don't feel like being kind?" he asked. Mrs. Ruler smiled. "Good deeds fill needs. Count on me, you'll see," she said. The next day, Anaya and Tawana couldn't wait for show and tell. When it was their turn, they ran to the front of the class. "We did 10 acts of kindness last night," said Tawana. "Before dinner, I made special placemats." "I set the table," said Anaya. "I drew hearts on the napkins to show Mom we love her," said Tawana. "I grated the cheese for the macaroni," said Anaya. "I helped make the salad," said Tawana. "After dinner, we carried the dishes to the sink," said Anaya. "And I loaded the dishwasher," said Tawana. "Well, I took out the garbage," added Anaya. "Then I sponged off the table," said Tawana. "Oh, and I straightened up the chairs," finished Anaya. "Mom told us how much she liked our homework. It put her in such a good mood that we went to do more nice things for her." "Bravo!" said Mrs. Ruler. "10 kind acts will lead to more. Give me the chalk and I'll keep score." Then she wrote the twins' deeds on the blackboard. When she was finished, she looked at David. "What about you?" she asked. "Did you practice too?" "No," said David. "I just couldn't get into it." "Oh my, please try. Kindness is cooler," said Mrs. Ruler. After school, Raquelita invited Connor over for a play date. She had a new dog and a big family, so there were lots of ways Raquelita and Connor could practice being kind. In show and tell the next day, they shared kindness with the class. "We took Puddles for a walk," said Raquelita, "and we threw him a ball." "I filled his water dish," said Connor. "And I gave him some puppy chow," said Raquelita. "Puppy chow, wow," said Mrs. Ruler. "Then we built a block tower with my little brother," said Raquelita, "and gave Abuelo and Abuelita their canes before they took a walk." "We also helped Raquelita's dad carry in groceries from the car," said Connor. "And I gave my baby sister her bottle," said Raquelita. "I count 8, and 8 is great," said Mrs. Ruler. "That's not all," said Connor. "When I got home, I took in the mail. I also carried the clean laundry upstairs." "Bravo!" said Mrs. Ruler. "Altogether, you did 10. "And how much do the twins' 10 acts and your 10 make?" "20!" shouted the class. "That's right," said Mrs. Ruler. "20 is plenty. But how about you, David? What did you do?" "Too few for you," said David. The class laughed. "I told my brother I liked his haircut, and I let him use my comb. That's all I could think of." "Well, that's a good start. Keep doing your part," said Mrs. Ruler. Lauren raised her hand. "I'd like to try some acts of kindness when I get home today, too," she said. "Okay, hooray," said Mrs. Ruler. "Let's turn this into a class project. For the rest of the week, I'd like you to bring in some acts of kindness you've done at home. I'll write your acts on paper hearts and put them on the bulletin board, and I'll also add the ones from the blackboard. Put away clothes, vacuum living room rug, shelved books, let my brother use my computer, told Dad I liked his shirt, got sister a Band-Aid when she skinned her knee, cleaned my room, fed goldfish, emptied wastebaskets, watered houseplants, put groceries away, drew pictures with my little sister, told my sister that she has nice teeth." The class really came through. "We have so many, we'll need another wall," Mrs. Ruler exclaimed. "Let's count." 1, 2, 3. The kids counted until they reached 35. "Bravo!" said their teacher. Now try skip counting by fives. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, shouted the class. That's right! You're bright, said Mrs. Ruler. We should keep going with this project. Now let's try some acts of kindness at school. I'll add those to the wall too. Don't forget, a slice of nice makes a mile of smile. As Mrs. Ruler kept cutting out more hearts, Connor and Pablo tried some school kindness too. They invited David to sit with them at lunch. But when they finished their sandwiches, David took one of Connor's cookies. Hey, quit it, said Connor. He grabbed David's lunch bag and threw it over his head. Stop, cried Pablo. Don't you remember what Mrs. Ruler said? Good deeds fill needs. David, don't grab. And Connor, you still have 4 cookies. Why don't you share them with David and me? Oops, said Connor. You're right. For a moment I forgot about being kind. And Connor gave some cookies to his friend. I agree. Here are 3. Yum, said David. I'm going to ask my babysitter to help me make cookies when I get home. And then you can bring them to school, said Pablo. And share them with the whole class, added Connor. And Mrs. Rule will congratulate me for being extra kind, said David. But I still won't have done as many acts of kindness as everyone else. So think of other things to catch up, said Pablo. David didn't have to think for long. That afternoon, when Caitlin was cleaning the gerbil's cage, the gerbils got loose. One even jumped to the window ledge. Mrs. Ruler hopped on a chair. Eek, squeak, she cried. Everyone ran for cover. Everyone but David. He chased the gerbils. He scooped them up one by one. Then he set them back where they belonged. Hooray for David, yelled the class. Your act of kindness was the best, cried Mrs. Ruler. Now go on home and do the rest. She jumped off the chair and added the acts of kindness from that week to the wall. Mrs. Ruler and the class counted up all the hearts. By now, the class had done 70 acts of kindness. That's great, but wait, said Mrs. Ruler. There's more in store. Let's keep going and spread some kindness beyond school. There are lots of kind acts you can do in the community. But we're just little kids, said David. How can we do stuff outside of our house and school? I'll ask your parents to work with you on community kindness, and I'll help too, said Mrs. Ruler. All it takes is one simple act, one act of kindness that will make the world a better place. If you act from your heart, you do your part. We'll end up with 100 acts of kindness altogether. Now the class was really excited, and David was more excited than anyone. A few weeks later, the kids shared their acts of community kindness. Mrs. Ruler added more hearts to the wall. Again the class counted. 1, 2, 3, until they got to 99. Oh no, uh-oh, said Mrs. Ruler. We still need one more. Then she paused and thought for a moment. I know. Let's have a class party. We'll decorate and celebrate. 100 acts of kindness, shouted the class. Okay, hooray! The end.